What's up, YouTube? Hope you're having a good Sunday morning. Nice fall weekend. We've got NFL Week 3 action to go over. Welcome to KO Bets. My name is Bill. Before I get started, if you don't mind, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified when I go live. We didn't have UFC this weekend, so just one show this week, which is nice. Had Friday night off. This coming Friday, that reminds me, this coming Friday I'm doing some volunteering, so it'll probably be a later show. I would guess 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock, but I'll try and have it set up, ready to go, so when I'm done volunteering, we can go live. What else do we got to go over here? NFT update. We're making progress. We're at 46 subscribers. Would like to get to 50. When the year started, I did have a goal to get to 100 subscribers. So I think we could still do it. That's kind of why I'm doing the NFL show. I traditionally only do the UFC shows, but the NFL is a different beast. It's a bigger animal. The reach is better. So it just made sense to do an NFL show. I might do something with the NBA too, just because I really enjoy it. Let's see what's up. Oh, let's talk about maybe last week real quick. Let's highlight last week. We're doing okay as far as our NFL picks. Last week's record 7-9 for the money line, over under 9-7, spread 8-8. So we just got to pick it up a little bit, get out of this 500 funk we're in, and then I think we'll do it. We'll catch fire one week, and it'll be awesome. So I think it'll be this week. Let's talk about last week though. Some tough picks that I made. Giants, they appear to be a little bit better than we initially thought. 2-0 to start the year. Patriots beat the Steelers. The Jets over the Browns. That was a bad one. Good pick we made was the Dolphins. Jaguars. The Colts are they're not showing up. Lions putting up points like crazy. What else do we got going on? Bears lost. Vikings, poor showing. The Bills are amazing. Oh, the Bengals, that was a tough game. Cardinals versus Raiders, that was another great game. This Dolphins-Ravens game, Cardinals-Raiders, those were awesome games. And then Thursday night, we took the Browns to beat the Steelers. We took them on the spread as well. As far as the over-under, I think we did the under, and they definitely went over, so we lost that. All right, so we got NFL Week 3 action. If you want, you can put like your, if you got a fantasy lineup, you can put those questions in the chat. I'm happy to give my opinion, my advice. First game we're going to go over is the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the New York Jets in New York. Cincinnati is 0-2 to start the year. Yeah? Aren't they? Yeah, 0-2 to start the year. Not ideal. An ideal position to be in. Lots of tight ends hurt. 1 second. Ooh, I tried to mute it. Ooh. All right. Just checking out the injury report here. It looks like Joe Flacco is going to be the QB again. I don't know. The Jets, in their first 2 games, like last week they put up points, 31 points. That's just insane. I don't think they put up any points week 9. I would expect them to be able to move the ball pretty efficiently against the Bengals. The Bengals defense isn't the greatest. I'm going to go with the Bengals here. For sure on the money line, we're going to go with the Bengals on the spread, -6. And I'm going to go over 45.5 points. I think the Jets have some good weapons and are very capable of scoring the ball, moving the ball against the Bengals. I still like the Bengals to win and the Jets to make a mistake or two, but yeah, I'm going with the over. I'm going with Cincy. Next game we've got is Buffalo in Miami. I mean, some might say this is a trap game, right? Because, but I mean, they're in the division with Miami. I think the Bills are really good. I think Miami's decently good too. I wouldn't be surprised if they're competing for a wild card spot, but the Buffalo Bills, that's a team I'm gonna just roll with until they lose, and to get them at 4.5, I'm taking it. Let's just double check the injury report. Here we go. Ed Oliver's out. Micah Hyde, we knew that. Jordan Phillips, Dane Jackson. Yeah, I mean, there's some defensive players for sure out for the Bills. I'm gonna go over 54. I think the Bills' defense is better than Miami's still, even with the injuries. But yeah, I just like both of these teams to put up some points in this game, and I'm gonna take the Bills 4.5 spread. Next game, we've got the Raiders taking on the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. Tennessee's the slight dog in this. Let's check out the injury report. I think that... Where is it? Where's Tennessee? Here it is. Yeah, Raiders 0-2, Titans 0-2. So whoever wins is going to get their first W. I think the Raiders are probably the better team. I mean, they had Arizona beat last week, and then Kyler Murray just worked some magic. I'm going to go with... it looks like their D-line might be a little banged up, but... and Hunter Renfro's out, but they still got plenty of weapons, in my opinion. For Tennessee... I'm looking for... So some linebacker depth is hurt, it looks like. So maybe Josh Jacobs could have a good day. He was actually pretty good against Arizona, too. I like that game plan in the first half of the game to just really run with them. So I'm going to go with the Raiders this game. I'm going to go with the Raiders to cover the spread, 2 under. I'm going over 45.5. I went under for a bunch of games last week, but I'm going to go over. Next game we've got fantasy football or baseball playoffs going on, so I'm getting text messages about that. I've got to pick up a bunch of pitchers and start them all, basically pray for some strikeouts and wins in order to move on to the championship, but then I'm retired. I can't do it anymore. Kansas City Chiefs at Indy. Give me KC -5. The Colts have just... I mean, that offense is eventually going to click, but it's not great right now. The over-under is 51. How's the Chiefs' defense been to start the year? What did they do last week? 24 they gave up to a very good Chargers team, and then 21. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs are pushing 30, and then I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts score a couple touchdowns. So, yeah, give me the over 51. We're just going over. Every single game so far, I picked the over. It's like the, what's your model? Tails never fails. Tails never fails. Double check the injury report. That's always important. Oh yeah, their kicker's still hurt. Juju's good. Wide receivers are all full participants. That's good. Yeah, I mean, the Colts are gonna... It's a disappointing start to the year. They need Shaq Leonard back healthy too, so their defense can play better. Houston taking on the Chicago Bears. Alright. This, full disclosure, I am a Bears fan. I'm a Bears nut, but come on. This is the Bears all day, right? Shy money line. Chicago. Spread -3. If I could get that at like minus, 2.5, that makes more sense, just so you don't get the push, but it's just my opinion. Especially with it at -105. Like I'm sure it's just -115 for the. It could be -120, I guess. Let's see. -122. Yeah. Yeah, give me the Bears. The over-under's the question. It's kind of overcast. What's the weather report for today? cloudy, 60s. It's beautiful. It is beautiful here. I went apple picking yesterday. It is absolutely beautiful. Over under 39. We know how the Bears have been because I've been watching them, but let's see, what did they do week 1? That was hardly even football. Texans put up 20. What did Houston do last week? They put up 9. I think, is this like two not great teams coming together and then you see a crazy game? Like, I could see Houston scoring a couple of big strikes against us. David Montgomery looked sick. If you want to, he looked really good against Green Bay, and we would have covered the 10 points if that touchdown would have been counted. All right. Jalen Johnson's something to watch. Roquan is something to watch. I'm going to go over, assuming we're missing a cornerback. I think the Texans get a couple of strikes against us. I think we score a few times as well. I think a really good value, Justin Fields to score at any time. I think it's just a good value. The Bears can run the ball up the field, and then just on the goal line, I think that's a good value. I think Mitch Trubisky, he's another guy you can do that with. Maybe Russell Wilson. But there's just some QBs that, why not take a little flyer on the QB to get in the end zone? He did it last week. That was plus 310 last week. All right, next game we've got the Detroit Lions taking on the Minnesota Vikings. So Detroit's been putting up points. There's no doubt about that. Last week, Minnesota was really disappointing against the Eagles. That offense was it wasn't good. The Lions don't have the best defense. Gave up 38 to the Eagles, gave up 27 to the Commanders. I think the smart bet is to go with the Vikings. Just figuring they're at home. I think Detroit could be in a position this year where they're winning games against the division, but I think this game is Minnesota. They're at home. I'll go over 52. Let's just keep going over. Just assuming Minnesota's going to put up points and Detroit's going to continue to be productive. Let's double check, because I thought I saw DeAndre Swift on the injury report, which if he's out, then I'm switching my pick to under. He's questionable. So I would switch to under if he is questionable. But the Lions offense definitely moving the ball very proficiently, but DeAndre Swift's a big part of that. But the official pick will go over. Baltimore Ravens at New England. I picked against Baltimore last week. I think I'm going to go with Baltimore this week. I think I'm going to go under. This is going to be my first under pick of the week. Under 45, and Baltimore to cover the 2.5. I think Baltimore's offense is a little more dynamic, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of a slugfest between Baltimore and New England. So it seems like most of Baltimore's players were full participants who were listed as questionable coming into the contest. A lot of Patriots limited in practice, but I would expect, Jacoby to play. So, going with Baltimore, though, in this game. I don't know if we've taken an underdog yet. We've got New Orleans at Carolina. I don't like anything about how New Orleans is running or at least how they game planned last week and ran their offense against the Buccaneers. Like, this team it's so stacked. The Saints are. We picked the Buccaneers, but the Saints are so stacked. They were down, I want to say, to Atlanta week 1. And they're just like, they're running the ball like maniacs. I think Ingram was their top carrier last week. I know Jameis has displayed, 3 interceptions. He's displayed this affinity to turn over the ball, but, I don't know. I don't really like the Saints. I'm going to roll with the Saints here, but I think this is a potential upset alert, especially if Kamara's out. If Alvin Kamara with the injured rib is out, and Taysom Hill's got an injured rib, if both of those guys are out, I think it just is a tough game for New Orleans to be on the road in Carolina and pull off the win as the favorite. I'm going to roll with New Orleans. I'm going to roll with, again, I'm assuming here we've got a healthy Kamara, but if he's trending towards not playing, this could be a bad game. I'm going to go under 41. Really low scoring projection for the game. Could be a recipe for disappointment, but just the way New Orleans has been pounding the ball, I don't know. Actually, I'm changing my pick to over 41. I think the teams are offensively are just pretty talented, and I could see each of them punching it in a couple times. So to be safe, I'm going over. Philadelphia Eagles, I like in this spot. I think the Eagles are just they're a really impressive team. Jalen Hurts he's running the offense at a high level for sure. I think Allen's good. Most of the Eagles who are listed on the injury report are good. I think the Eagles are better. I don't think I want to look at Washington's game against, you can look at them against the Commanders and understand, or the Lions and understand they're probably going to give up a lot of points. But I don't want to look at their offensive performance because I think the Eagles are a bit better than the Lions on the defensive side of the ball. Let's see. Beat the Jaguars. I think over 47.5 is fine. Eagles did pitch a shutout against a better offense in the Minnesota Vikings last week, but I I think with Philly involved, potentially being able to put up 30 points, I'm gonna go with over. Next game we've got is the Chargers at home against Jacksonville. Give me the Chargers. I'll go over 42.5. I don't know. Let's see if Keenan's back. He didn't practice, so he's questionable. Oh, is Herbert gonna be hurt? I would expect Herbert to play. We'll watch this going into the afternoon. If like Herbert's out, I mean, I would switch my pick to the Jaguars. If Herbert's in, I'm gonna stick with the Chargers. I mean, it's a big provisional, but yeah, let me get the Chargers. Let me get to cover the -3.5. Upgraded defense, good football team. I mean, if Herbert's hurt, he made some incredible throws when he was injured last week. I mean, he's had some time to tighten up and stuff, but I think Herbert is going to be fine. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this next game to cover on the money line. I think the Bucs are pretty good. I think the Packers, while they played well against the Bears last week, I think they're coming back to earth this week against a very good Buccaneers team. The over-under's at 42. I mean, Green Bay's, their defense isn't bad, but I don't think it's amazing. Some of the wide receivers are injured for, it looks like, the Buccaneers. What did the Buccaneers do week 1? Oh yeah, pitched a really good game against the Cowboys. Packers lost to the Vikings. Ooh. I think these teams are talented. We got Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers in this game, and we're saying it's going to be under 42 points. I know that's what I was arguing with the Buccaneers against the Saints last week. I'm like, these teams are way too talented to not score, 44 points or whatever. We're going over 42. I know both are sound defensively, both have a run-heavy... Well, can't even say they both have a run-heavy approach. Tom Brady led the league in attempts, and you got Aaron Rodgers, but they do try to establish the run wisely. Rams taking on the Cardinals at Arizona. What's going on? Is Stafford hurt? I think he's fine. Aaron Donald, full participant. Yeah, give me the Rams all day. All day, give me the Rams. On the road, give me them to cover. There's no huge spreads. I mean, Cincy, Minnesota, Philly. No huge spreads yet. Over under 48.5. Let me go over 48.5. Arizona looked like their offense was cooking last week. But I think the Rams are better than than Vegas. Atlanta at Seattle. Oh yeah, we're taking the dog. We're taking ATL. Over unders 43.5. Let me go over 43.5. Let's see what Seattle's done. Seattle. 7 points last week. 17 against the Broncos. It's not good. And they're playing Atlanta, who's decent, I thought. Yeah, 26, and they were up in that game. And then 27 last week. And the over-under's at what? 43? Yeah, I guess we gotta go under. Under. Let me get Atlanta to cover the spread, obviously. So that's our one dog pick thus far. We've got the 49ers at Denver. Is this the week where Denver finally cooks? I think it's, without question, it's going to be a close game. It's just Russell Wilson. He's always in close games, and he can't not be in them. So I was looking to see what they did. Man, I mean, it's clear though that offense just isn't cooking. The 49ers, Trey Lance is out for an extended period of time, so we've got what's his face, Garoppolo starting, so they finally got in the end zone. And they had a decent game then against Seattle with Garoppolo at QB. This is a tough one. I think most of me wants to go with San Francisco, but like part of me just wants to take that home dog at Sunday Night Football. So I'm going to roll with Denver, the home dog on Sunday Night Football. The reason being, you've got Elijah Mitchell out, Trey Lance out for the 49ers. I know they have Deebo Samuel, and Shanahan does tend to run the ball effectively with whoever is his running back. But I do think Denver's defense is arguably better than San Francisco's. And I think Denver's just, they're not clicking yet, but they will click. And now they're facing Russell Wilson, who's a very familiar opponent for both Kyle Shanahan and vice versa. You know, Russell Wilson has experience against this 49ers roster. So I think this is maybe a game where Wilson gets a little bit back on track. And I think Denver wins the game. So Denver, we're taking the underdog. We're taking them to cover the 1.5 points, obviously. Over-under is set at 44.5. I'm going to go with over 44.5. I think this is the game Russ cooks. Denver wins decidedly, and I think this is the game they cook. Tomorrow we've got Dallas at New York. Give me Dallas. So picked against them last week. So impressed with Dallas and that defense. I think the defense alone is enough to give New York issues. Offensively, their QB wasn't bad last week for Dallas. He was making key throws that he needed to against the Bengals, moving the ball, moving the chains. They did put up their points in the first quarter and then kind of went stagnant, but that's kind of kind of like the opponent too. The Bengals they need to come out strong today for sure, and ready to play. Yeah, I mean, I think what Dallas did is, I mean, it's not good, but we're hanging our hats on the defensive side of the ball. So over-under's at 39. Whew. Let's go under 39. Let's make a statement. And then just because I won't be on, we've got Miami at the Bengals this week. Gosh. I expect Cincy to bounce back. I expect Miami to lose this week to Buffalo. I think maybe this is where Miami trips up and they lose a couple games in a row. I am a fan of Miami, but I'm going to go with Cincy on Thursday night. I'm going to go with the over 48. Is that a wise idea? Yeah, I'm going to go with over 48, and then Cincy minus 1.5. If you want, you can, right here is my, it's hard to see it on that page. Right here is my Twitter handle. You can follow me there. I'll post a pic or two. So that concludes our NFL picks. Now we got to go into fantasy, right? Let's build a lineup. I just deposited some money. Built up a nice bankroll last weekend on UFC and the NFL, but I want to do a contest. I'm going to just do this $3 one. Let's build a lineup. Let's build a lineup. I like searching for value at the QB position, but at the same time, like, getting these these huge games with insane production is advantageous. Our biggest over-under is Buffalo and Miami, followed by Minnesota, and who are they playing? Detroit. Kansas City is high at 51. They're taking on, who are they taking on? Kansas City. So let's make note of some of these games. So Buffalo. I'm going to put like the favorite on the left side of my column, the underdog. That was a high over under. KC at Indy. Because like Indy, I don't know if I would take anyone from Indy. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, obviously, but Minnesota, Detroit. What's another high projected game? So those are all the ones that break 50 points. Then you got like the Rams, Cardinals. Eagles, Washington. Those are the next two. So like those are the top 5. Yeah, I mean the combination of Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs last week was just insane. I think the fact that you can get Stephon Diggs at that price point is pretty appealing. Amon St. Brown's been very good. Right? That's a great price point. What did he do last week? Last game, 42.4 fantasy points. Holy cow. Holy shit. So the Buccaneers are going without quite a bit of players. Who would be the substitute for these wide receivers? So Chris Godwin's out. Julio Jones is hurt. Cole Beasley is getting... Oh, he was on the practice squad. So it's Gage, Perriman, Miller. I think we've got to... I think that's something we've got to look at. Obviously taking advantage of. So Gage is questionable. So he's expected to play. He's 4,700. What the hell is going on with these? Okay, he's expected to suit up. 3,900. I mean, if Jones is healthy, I don't even think I would do it, just because he's... I mean, I don't even think you can do it just because he's not even really getting the targets. What's Scotty Miller? That's an interesting one to me. Honestly, that's like the most appealing, especially if he's healthy. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Scotty Miller. I think he's just got a, he's got a shiftiness to him that we've seen Brady like in the past. So I'm going to go with him as one of my positions. Let's look at the defenses. That's always nice to get an indication of who you'd like to take defensively. I want to see who's put up the least amount of points. 49ers later. Scoring. So Cowboys, Colts, Broncos, Texans. Cowboys, Colts, Broncos, Texans. I would say, the Seahawks are very bad. Is there anyone that just seems to be maybe outpacing where we feel they should be? Maybe the Falcons, but I like the Falcons today. Maybe it's like Baltimore. Yeah, Ravens are very low. 3,000. Let's check down here for additional value. Colts, Jags, Commanders. Nope. It's interesting. I mean, Atlanta and Seahawks is interesting. I'm going to do Atlanta. They've been solid thus far. You can see average fantasy points per game, 11. They've been solid thus far. I'm going to go with Atlanta. Let's see. Let's check running backs. Jacobs is on track. Dobbins is expected to play. This will be his first game of the year. Optimism, he'll play. Fournette is expected to play. Kamara is expected to play. What's Gabe Davis? He's active. Thielen still hasn't gotten going yet. Renfro's out. Garrett Wilson, 14 targets his last game. 14 targets. It's not bad. Curtis Samuel's been very reliable. Got in the end zone last week again. He's just like an appealing high floor guy. Jarvis didn't have a good week last week. He had a good week 1, but wasn't good last week. I don't know, people. This is pretty not compelling content, so I do want to just put together a lineup though really quickly, so I'm going to step it up here a bit. Let's go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Leonard's out. I'm going to put Stephon Diggs in. Gabe is out. That seems to be a pretty prolific combination. I'm going to also put Justin Jefferson in my lineup. Let's look at QBs, and assuming we're going to take the value approach here, let's see what we've got going on. David Mills is very low in price tag. Jameis Winston is super low in price, I feel like. Jameis has fractures in his back. I don't know. Mills seems kind of appealing just because he's cheap. Lawrence is appealing again because he's cheap and expensive. Mariota hasn't been bad. Flacco hasn't been bad. Fields, I don't love that. Brady's super inexpensive. Carr's super inexpensive. Hines, Murray, Hurts. Let's find our tight end. Probably can't spend for one of the nice guys. So we're looking for value in this lineup. I still think Tanyan presents value, even though he hasn't been utilized that much. Komet hasn't gotten a catch yet, which is kind of crazy to me. Logan Thomas is solid, and we've seen Carson Wentz support the tight end position pretty well. I'm going to go with Cole Kmet is barely less. I'm going to go with Logan Thomas. So that's given us additional savings. We do need another running back. Can we find anything appealing under 5,500? Or is this where we need to look at our QB and just like make the concession that we're going to not spend money on QB and draft David Mills? No, let's not do that yet. Swift is kind of hurt. Williams is there. Carter's not bad. Hilliard's back. He appears to be their pass catcher. Like, he had a good game a couple weeks ago. Caught a couple touchdowns. I think he was out last game. Hines. I mean, I'm going to watch Swift carefully. I'll watch Kamara carefully. Fournette, I expect to play. Connor, I expect to play. Jacobs, I expect to play. Yeah, I might take the chance on Hilliard here. He had a really nice game receiving a couple weeks ago. I could see him again playing that receiving role, and I could see Tennessee potentially down. We need a flex here. 5,800. Cooks, Patterson. I could see Patterson having a big day. Let's look at our QB here. Could we even do something like that? We could. I mean, Kirk Cousins might be a wiser move. That gives us 4,900 for the flex. What's up with Corey Davis? Rashad Penny, Jarvis Landry. I mean, at this point, if I'm gonna just, no, Nelson Aguilar is interesting. But if I'm gonna just keep climbing down here, Dumerve. Yeah, if I'm gonna just keep going down, I might as well do just just like spend the money on Josh. Get him. Go to the flex here. Just take a look at what's out there, right? I mean, there's some tight ends. Pettis from the Bears. There's some tight ends. Yeah, now that I'm here, if I'm being honest, I don't know if I want to be here. Let's look at running backs, see if I can... We had Hilliard at 5,100 or something, which... I could do Gainwell, who's been good. Just like... It's just... Or Scott. It's just going to be so touchdown dependent, but they do run the ball a lot in Philly. So that's not a bad strategy, in my opinion. Bolden, I'm sure he got a bulk of his work last week because Jacobs was somewhat hurt. Yeah, I mean, that was a touchdown-dependent double-digit game. Yeah, to be honest, I think... I mean, Jerick McKinnon's even interesting, but I already have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But he's interesting simply because he has been getting some targets and looks. That was a touchdown-dependent score last week. I'm going to take the chance on Bart Scott. Bart Scott to find the end zone. Like, last week, 3.1 points. Could be really bad, for sure. But now I've got 3,800 that I can spend on this spot, and it's still shit. The fuck? Alright, I guess, I mean, Hollins could be filling in, right, without, yeah, we'll do Hollins, because, yeah, we'll do Hollins, that makes sense. Herbert, while I do love that idea, I think I'm going to go back to Hilliard here. I think I'm going to go back to this idea. Someone's out for, Renfro's out for the Raiders, so that's why I like that. Let's see if we can potentially upgrade our defense here. 2,800 Packers, Tampa, Titans, Seahawks. Yeah, I'm going to just go with the Falcons here. And we'll do $3. Boom. Hopefully it works out. Alright, I'm going to sign off for today. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy your day. Have a great week. And, oh, let me close the poll. Did anyone even vote in this? No one voted, but the right answer was the Bears. I'm going to sign off. Have a great weekend, everyone. Talk to you later. Peace.
Uh.